about yeah about how to rent houses in
Well, rent,
the university
if
and
somebody's
how.
coming here and they're looking for a place to live, they want to rent an
Yeah.
apartment or a house.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Heck, do they even have a paper anymore? Most places still have a classified ads, or with the internet, you can look up in an area you're looking to live, and you just look up houses to rent, rentals, and then you kind of, and a lot of times they have the price ranges, and then basically you contact the people that got them to rent, and you set up an appointment, and a lot of them require what they call first and last month's rent. So you pay like the security deposit. It means, so if you move out early because you sign a thing saying I'm going to be here for 6 months, because they're expecting, okay, I know I'm going to make money on my place for 6 months. They don't want, most places don't want to rent for like a month, because now they got to find another tenant. They want to look for a long-term person.
Yeah.
So also they want to know references. So if you're coming and they want references, to know, do you pay your bills, and stuff like that, or they require bigger security deposits. Like you got to put money down to say, okay, if I move out and they have to, you destroy the place. That's what a security deposit is saying. Is, oh, you destroyed the place and you left early, so they have money to fix the place because you damaged it. But they also require like what they call first and last month. So it's like if your rent is going to be $600 a month here, you might have to have $1,200 to put down initially to get the apartment settled, depending on, and then if there's programs that assistance, like, that help people out, especially like small families, kids and stuff like that, if you apply for assistance, and then there's different groups that say these apartments qualify for like the assistance programs too. But typically you just contact them, and then you got to have references. The more references, like somebody to say, hey, yes, they've rented here before, or they've worked for me, or trying to come up with it. So a person that maybe you were looking at, maybe more for a person that's coming from another country. If you were there, where did you live? Who did you work for? Even because as you're coming in, if anything that you could say, that even if they got to call somebody over and says, hey, this person's asking to rent, how were they there by you? But typically have the information on hand, and if you do have the money saved to initially pay for several months of rent, like, here's the security deposit. Most places are going to say, okay, they'll look at your record, and they don't see nothing bad on your record, then you can rent. So, but yeah, there's online advertise rental. You can look at rentals, like search it, and then they'll give you a list and tell them what area, and then you can say what size rentals do you need and price ranges, and then they just call them and set up an appointment. So, but you got to be prepared. Most places want, like they call security deposit. So if you're looking at your rent, figure you need double that to initially start.
And how we deal with them about the price to rent the houses or the apartment.
They'll have a phone number, and you call them, and they set up to meet, and then they do a walkthrough. So the landlord or the company that rents it, just like, so you're looking at something that kind of falls into what you want, and then you'll set up an appointment. They'll say, oh, we got openings and the price range and stuff, and okay, it meets your qualifications, and you say, well, this is what I got. You go in and then you fill out the little application thing showing your information, because they got to have that anyway, and then they'll take you to show you them, and you can your apartments, and show here's availability, and then you decide if you want it. Then you sign saying, okay, well, I plan on here's our what they call a lease. A lot of places are doing leases. You're saying you're leasing the apartment 6 months, 1 year, so they know that you're going to stay there that long, and here's what you're paying, and then you pay for it, and then they give you the time to move in. So basically it's just meeting with somebody. They're looking and they're saying, yes, we're going to rent to you. You got to show proof of being able to pay for it, like an income of some sort, or having money down to having the financial stability to pay for it. You already got a job maybe lined up, or you got money that, like you said, with security deposits or paying ahead of time. Even if you don't have a job, if you come and say I'm going to do a 1-year lease and you've saved up cash and you can pay for the whole year, a lot of places will do that too. It's depending on the landlord and the different facilities. Everybody's got a little bit different rules.
Yeah. How about a student?
A student?
Yeah, a student.
A lot of times students, if they got the college thing and stuff, they got what there's usually in, like, if you're signed up at a school, like you're talking like going to a college or a tech school.
Yeah.
They, in the schools themselves, they have like counselors and aid departments. So if you're going to apply at school, you can go to them and say, what about housing and this and that, and then they have lists of like student housings. Some of the bigger colleges, they have like on-campus dorms, which you might have to share with somebody, or like and that's the best thing, is if like 2 people come in and going to college at the same time. A lot of people like to team up with somebody they know or they get along with, and they share an apartment like room, and it's just like you basically got one room and a shared bathroom in a hallway. It's the dormitory type for colleges, and that. But at the college you're going to go to, there's an aid department and that, and say, do you qualify for these grants to help with housing, grants for books, stuff like that. That's money that different organizations donate, or government, to help students get their education and housing and stuff. So if you're looking at a college, you usually can find an aid department or the housing at that campus, and they know, well, in this area we have these places that qualify for our grant system, and then they can say it could be really cheap to stay there.
Cheap.
Yeah, so if you're coming to go to school, then look at the schools and then look and see where they got their student aids and departments like that. And you can do that over the internet and talk to people and emails that way, and know what you're going to be in for money wise to house yourself and stuff like that. And there's a lot of times there's people that have houses that just will rent like a bedroom, like what we call like if you ever heard of a bed and breakfast, where you're basically renting a room, but it's a communal kitchen, a communal thing. And so, but you got your room, and so that way when there's maybe 6 people in that house, the price is cheaper. But that's like campus living, or in the college towns, they have a lot of houses like that where several people get together, and then they'll all split the price of the house.
And how they move in for transportation?
What's that?
For students, they usually use the buses
To get to the school?
Yeah, right.
A lot of the campuses, there's stuff so close. I know a lot of like around here, in the cities and stuff, like if they use bikes and little scooters and different things like that. And then there's like usually in the areas there's like the public bus, where you can get like a bus pass for a year or a month, whatever. You pay a certain fee, and then you get on the bus and you can use the bus to go wherever you need to. The public bus, public transportation. That's where a lot of them areas do. And then, like I said, if you're close enough, like when the weather's not so bad, then people have a lot of pedal bikes, a lot of pedaling back and forth. And usually where close to the campus of the college is, there's lots of dorms and stuff really close, that it isn't bad to jump on a bike and ride. A lot of the collapsible folding stuff where they can bring it right in, or they lock it up outside, at their class or the buildings, because some of the schools, you have multiple buildings. That this one's for the science department, or if you're going to that, and this is where you go for different, what I mean? It's not just one big building doing everything, and some colleges are that way. But yeah, so the transportation is typically, you plan on biking it, or public bus transportation, or
because they don't
taxi,
have
Uber,
taxi.
Yep.
The Uber is expensive to take.
It depends, especially if you got 4 people that live together, kinda, and they're all leaving at the same time. You can get an Uber and you all split it if you need to that day. It's not so bad, if you can afford. But most of the places, when I was in the college towns and stuff like that, most of the people, if you're in the bigger cities, like here, if you're in Madison and UW Madison, a lot of the buildings right around is dorm, and I see lots of people with the little scooters and stuff year round, wintertime and everything. They're bundled up and they're going, and then when you get to the southern states where it's warmer too, it's pretty much all scooters and bikes, the little electric ones and stuff like that. And they always have areas to park them and lock them up and stuff. So, but yeah, in the college towns, it's typically you're dormed near where you're going to school at.
Yeah.
So,
That's good. Thank you, Ted.
yeah.